You gotta fight for the truth. Do what's necessary to do so, because they're trying to make things the way they want to, subjugate you and propagate you into entertaining the lies. You have to know what's really going on out here in this world, because if you don't, everything will confuse you. The important parts, the important things, the history of things. You gotta do your own due diligence and know the facts. That's what I'm striving. Whatever it is. Because I'm about to show y'all some truth. Even though some of this can be debunked, we're going for it. This is a channel where I spread awareness of things that I see fit. Things that I want to talk about and have conversations with you guys. Because, there are some things that can't go unanswered. There are some things that you have to ask questions about and get the answers in your own way. Because what the people are doing that's in higher power, they want to make the lie the truth and the truth a lie. And you need to understand that that's what's really going on out here. So without further ado, let's just get right into it.
What's up, family? Bad news. If you own a smartphone, Donald Trump, your president, and his masked secret agents are spying on you. Now, I know what you're thinking. Man, I've been knowing that, man. They've been doing that. Family, you're partially right. But you have no idea how deep this rabbit hole goes. ICE has acquired powerful new surveillance tools that allow the agency to access and track phone location data, and in some cases, potentially hack phones without a traditional warrant, raising significant civil liberties concerns among privacy advocates. Instead of obtaining location data directly from phone carriers, which typically requires a warrant, ICE purchases access to vast amounts of aggregated, commercially available location data from data brokers. An internal ICE legal analysis suggests that this method allows them to circumvent the need for a warrant because the data is considered publicly or commercially available. These are some of the key aspects of the technology, which includes commercial location data. ICE uses tools like WebLock and Tangles from a company called PinLink to access location information from hundreds of millions of phones. These tools can monitor a specific location or neighborhood, track movements over time, and build detailed day-to-day life profiles of individuals. Spyware. ICE has also revived a contract with Paragon Solutions, an Israeli company that makes spyware named Graphite. This tool is capable of remotely hacking into phones, accessing encrypted messages, photos, and real-time location data without the user's knowledge and without them having to click on any link. A zero-click exploit. Physical phone access. When agents have physical phone access, they use tools from companies like Cellebrite and Magnet Forensics to unlock the device and download all data, including messages, call records, and location history. Data integration. All the collected data is reportedly integrated into a system called Immigration OS, developed by Palantir, which links various databases, IRS, immigration records, private data, to create comprehensive profiles that are easy to search. Privacy advocates, including ACLU and the Electronic Privacy Information Center, argue these methods violate Fourth Amendment protections against unreasonable searches and seizures, as the Supreme Court has previously ruled that the location data generally requires a warrant. Concerns have also been raised that these tools could be used against U.S. citizens involved in protest and advocacy work, not just non-citizens. Family, this is absolutely insane and an egregious violation of privacy and fundamental principles of American liberty and freedom. Yeah, man, we got to stop this. We got to break this up. Who ready to ride? Who ready to ride? Family, look, in all seriousness, somebody better be ready to ride, because this country ain't what it claims to be on paper. Well, you know what? This country really never.
The war is a distraction from this.
Wait, it's not about their nukes?
No. Iran's central bank counts because their oil and energy is very important, including for China. If you're going to come out with programmable money,
with a revolutionary new payment system,
with digital IDs that are interoperable globally, that controls in each jurisdiction centrally, you can't afford leakage. Iran right now is the big leakage in the system. Now, Larry Fink and BlackRock have said
we need to move very rapidly.
They're planning on trading all stocks and bonds using tokens.
All investments on a tokenized platform.
What it means is this is going to be...
We have one common blockchain.
You know, potentially $100, $200, $300 trillion market. $100, $200, $300 trillion market.
The wars, the Epstein files, the aliens, AI... It's all to keep you from the truth. The power brokers are trying to preserve US dollar dominance at any costs. All the value is converging into precious metals and soon the digital rails. Put your faith in God and He'll handle the rest.
So we're at war with Iran right now, and it's pretty contained for the moment, emphasis on the moment, but that's probably going to change tonight as U.S. air assets get involved over the Iranian battle space. I just want to make a video for you to send to anyone you know who's a veteran or currently in the military who's really banging the war drums. The United States is the greatest threat to world peace, global stability, and is the most lawless nation on earth. I'm fourth-generation Army. I grew up in the whole arsenal of democracy propaganda. I was in a special operations unit during Obama's Afghanistan surge while we were propping up pedophilic narco warlords in Kandahar and Helmand as part of a nation-building exercise. What that means is the government takes all your tax money and gives it to private contractors to prop up a government that nobody wants. If you are in the military right now, just know that you are not serving your country. You are not fighting for freedom or democracy. You are fighting for about 1,000 odd child trafficking, parasitically wealthy billionaires who do not believe in countries or nation states in the same way that you do. They believe they are above that peasant stuff. You think little Marco Rubio is in charge. You think dumbass Pete Hegseth is actually in charge of the Department of War. The person who's running the Department of War is the private equity billionaire deputy director Steve Feinberg, who has never served in the military, but who was the head of DynCorp International, a private military contractor until 2020. You are fighting to make rich men who view you with utter contempt even richer. It's 2026, y'all. It's time to grow up. Every imperial war we fight is a war on the global working class, of which you are a part. These billionaire MFers don't believe in international boundaries when having class consciousness, so why do you? What's happening right now will further immiserate your material conditions, and you have more in common with your average Iranian than you ever will with the pedos you're fighting for. Again, you are not fighting for America or a democracy. You're fighting for inhumanly rich child cannibals, essentially, who think you are cattle. So have fun with that. It's a difficult process to de-propagandize, but I have faith in you, and I believe you can do it.
show you something totally insane. We are really not safe, and Donald Trump needs to be impeached and removed. Do you want to see why? Let me just show you. This is a screenshot from a text exchange I was just on with some people behind the scenes in the House. These are staffers, etc., who are very kept up on exactly what is happening with this House DHS bill that has to get funding. So look at this. This is someone who had been in contact with Representative Escobar, who was in on the negotiation. This is her talking. She wrote, Representative Escobar's office shared some changes that were made to the markup once it passed the Rules Committee. This happened late last night. Representative Escobar, Democrat by the way, presented an amendment that prohibited the detainment of U.S. citizens. That amendment passed with GOP support, so Republicans supported it, but allegedly the amendment was stripped late last night by the administration. Do you understand? I asked because I wanted to clarify and make sure I understood this correctly. Said she literally added an amendment that prohibited the detention of U.S. citizens and the Republicans stripped it out. She said no, the White House stripped it. The White House stripped the amendment that prohibited the detention of U.S. citizens. Send this to your Trump-supporting friends. Send this to your politically checked out friends. You need to understand that not a single person in this country is safe right now because this administration has no regard at all for the U.S. Constitution. Don't believe me? Go read the breaking news this morning about how ICE is allowing their agents to enter homes without a judicial warrant, violating the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution. They don't care. Anyway, remember the Pledge of Allegiance? You took it. Help us fight.
There's some news from other countries that we're not being told, but they are being told. One is that Germany has considered America officially unsafe to travel to. Canada doesn't consider our medical research valid anymore. They say it's considered as untrue because of the political affiliation with our educational system. Other countries think that we'll no longer be having any elections and that this is how it's going to be for the rest of our lives. Other countries consider us not a first world country anymore based on freedom of press, freedom of expression, our education, and political freedoms. North Korea states that we're going too far. Let that one sink in. Romania is allegedly no longer allowed to ship anything to the United States because they consider it unsafe. And then this one had me really freaked out. The Dutch have officially considered that Trump is more dangerous than Hitler. This is only the beginning of the end to the illusion though. So I'm really not trying to impose fear on anybody. It's more just that anything that wasn't on solid ground must fall before it can be rebuilt. It's like the tower moment for the new earth.
You know how I always say they put the truth right in plain sight? Well, I decided to test it out. And if they're telling us the truth in plain sight, I figured I'd test it out against smart water. Seems like it's a safe bet to say it might be a little smarter to choose the smart over the death. Next, I decided to test the water from Fiji and the French Alps. Do you know what Evian spells backwards? It's naive for those of you that are a little slow.
Mountain water, Fiji versus Evian.
Boy, those French Alps sure are tainted. And just to point out, yellow is an indicator of fluoride, and that is all sorts of metals. Lastly, I decided to test the water I drink most, distilled versus the other water I drink most, from the Epic water filter that I drink mostly.
Good old distilled water. And Epic water filters, which is what I normally drink out of. It's supposed to get all the F out. We'll see how it does. Wish me luck. I'm not gonna lie here, I'm extremely disappointed. I literally just been putting Florida tap water in here, thinking that this company was legit. What a joke. Distilled for the win, people. 100%. Crystal clear. None of the others had them. I would say smart water is probably your second best choice. Or get yourself a reverse osmosis water filter. To think, this has been my go-to for a year. Can't trust the companies, especially when they sell this on Amazon. You know what, though, if you want one of these, I did get it on Amazon. I don't support them. But when you can use them to fight them, and this does nothing. This is almost as bad as just straight up tap water. What a joke. Look at this. What an absolute joke. I tested the Florida tap water, and it literally wasn't that bad. So this piece of crap water filter is literally making Florida tap water worse. How is that even possible? I just got a brand new filter. This is what I give my dogs on a daily basis. I feel terrible. Now, besides for drinking out of plastic, there is only one way to go if you don't want any of this or the yellow stuff. But of course, all this for entertainment purposes, people. They would never just tell us the truth right in plain sight, and they would never advertise falsely. No, never. The powers that be would never advertise falsely. Entertainment only. Oh, and if there's a brand you want me to test out, put it in the comments. Good luck.
It seems like my entire timeline was in Brazil for Carnival, and it got me thinking about the history of Brazil and its relationship with blackness. Have you ever wondered why Brazil is one of the most racially diverse countries on earth despite having the majority of the slaves from the transatlantic slave trade? Let's talk about how Brazil became known as the racial democracy and why that story is way more complicated. While other countries like the US were passing heavy segregation laws, the Brazilian government was doing the exact opposite. They were literally trying to breed out blackness. This was called branqueamento, or the whitening policy. In the late 1800s, after slavery was abolished, the government was terrified of becoming a black nation. Their solution? Scientific racism. They believed European genes were stronger, so they paid millions of Europeans to move to Brazil, hoping they'd mix with the local population and whiten the country. The idea that the nation could become more civilized by increasing its European ancestry. So what did they do? They promoted massive European immigration, especially from Italy, Germany, and Portugal, and encouraged racial mixing. The goal, over the generation, the population would become lighter skinned. This is something that unfortunately isn't unique to Brazil and is part of the larger Latino history with blackness and racial purity called mejorar a raça, and we see the lasting effects of this in countries like DR. This brings us to the term you see on every census today, pardo. Pardo is the official category for mixed-race Brazilians. It's an umbrella term that includes mulattoes, black and white, caboclas, indigenous and white, and cafusos, black and indigenous. According to the latest data from the IBGE, Pardos make up over 45% of the population, the largest group in the country. But there's a catch. For decades, the government used this mixing to promote the myth of racial democracy. They claimed Brazil didn't have racism because everyone was mixed, and we know that to be a lie. In reality, Pardo was used as a tool for social whitening. People would identify as Pardo instead of black, preto, to gain better social status or avoid discrimination. Today, activists in the black movement often group pretos and pardos together as negro to fight systemic change, because being mixed doesn't mean racism disappeared, it just made it more complex. Brazil has one of the most rich black cultures around the world. I used to live there, and when I went to Salvador and Bahia, I was like, oh my God, this is so black. But in places like Rio, I found it to be more mixed and people ran away from black. So it's nice to see that there's a shift to move towards understanding that just because you're mixed doesn't mean you're not black, and doesn't mean that society won't see you as a black person. Much love to all my Brazilians. I can't wait to come back. Ciao.
In part 1, I showed how billionaire Peter Thiel found his project at Yale. That student was J.D. Vance. But you need to understand, Vance isn't just a vice president. He's a man handpicked and funded by one billionaire to change our country forever. It started in 2011. Vance heard Thiel speak at Yale and called it the most important moment of his life. By 2015, Thiel hired him, and Vance moved out to San Francisco and joined Thiel's inner circle. Then in 2016, while Thiel was paying his salary, Vance wrote his book, Hillbilly Elegy. Thiel even wrote the blurb on the cover. He used his power to turn Vance into the voice of the working class. Then Thiel got other billionaires to give Vance $93 million to start his own company. They didn't just give him a job. They made him a multimillionaire before he even ran for office. But there was a problem. In 2021, Vance ran for Senate and was losing. People found out that in 2016, Vance called Trump America's Hitler. The MAGA voters were walking away. So Peter Thiel stepped in. He flew Vance to Mar-a-Lago to make a deal with Trump. And to make it happen, Thiel gave $15 million to a political group, the biggest single donation ever for one Senate race. That check is the only reason Trump endorsed him. It's the only reason Vance won. Now, here's the scary part. Why would a billionaire spend $15 million on one man? In 2009, Thiel wrote that he no longer believes freedom and democracy can work together. He was very clear about why. He blamed the fact that women got the right to vote and that poor people on welfare have the right to vote. He believes that if those people vote, they will always vote for programs that will help the public, which eats into the profits of the rich. To him, your right to vote is a problem for his money. Thiel also owns Palantir, the software company ICE uses to track people down. He is building the tools to watch us and installing J.D. Vance to lead us. This isn't a theory, it's an investment. Stay tuned for part 3, where I name other people from Thiel's circle who are already inside the government. Like, follow, and share, and spread the word.